Whenever you're ready. Did you guys know that nowadays cellos are mass-produced and are very rarely made from hand? Well, I decided to become one of those people that made it by hand. I'm Dominic Mazzotti, and for my 20% project, I made a cello from scratch using only wood and other household materials. When I was first asked to do the 20% project, I didn't know what I was going to do. I decided to do a cello because I used to be in the band and strings program, and I kind of miss playing an instrument. When I first started, I didn't think that we were going to finish because I hadn't played a cello, let alone seen one in 3 years. My grandpa didn't know what it looked like. We got off to a slow start. We decided to do a scale version of the cello, which we call our prototype, so I can practice using all the tools for the real cello. I did not want to mess up and have to start all over. We didn't really know what design we were going to use, just because we hadn't seen one in so long. So we decided to make the top and bottom the same width, because we didn't want to risk breaking some of the materials we were using. In our first couple sessions, I would have my grandpa cut out one section of the cello, and I would cut out the other section of the cello, so that we could figure out how I would do. The first thing I learned how to use was a table saw. Now the table saw, you just slide a piece of wood in and it would cut it in two. When we finished working on the prototype cello, at the end of March, we didn't know where we'd go from there. The first couple meetings that we had were both rained out because we couldn't work on them because all of our materials were outside, as well as the next time. When we finally went to work on it, it was already April 15th. We only had 35 days to finish the project. I was feeling hopeless and I didn't think that we'd finish. For the real cello, we decided that we were going to make the top and bottom both the same width as we did for the regular prototype, because we didn't want to break we had a very thin scroll saw, is what it was called, and it's easily breakable if you do tight turns or if you turn things too suddenly. After we cut out the front and back, we decided to glue blocks of wood in between the top and bottom so that the pieces wouldn't be just flat. When we thought the glue was dried up, we decided to screw the pieces in, and this was our first mistake. The glue hadn't dried yet, and so when we went to screw it, all the pieces fell out of the cello, and we were left with 2 pieces of the cello and 18 blocks of wood. When we finally put all the pieces back together, we decided to just screw them one by one, just so that we didn't risk breaking it again. For the wood on the sides, that we had already bent it, and we decided that we'd put the pieces of wood on the side and we'd screw them into the blocks that were already there. The wood would splinter and crack, but it didn't really stop us because there's nothing we could do about it. As we drew closer to the end of our work, we realized that all the real cellos had a different color and they were shiny. And all we had were pieces of plywood that had no real color to them. So we used something called a spar varnish, which gives it a color that all the other cellos had. And then we used a finisher to make the cello shiny. Some things that I learned are the valuable tools that I used. I used a scroll saw. I used very different sanding equipment, and we had to sand by hand, and that was the first time I'd ever done that. Some other things that I learned is that your dreams and accomplishments may be closer to reality than you think. Thank you. So we actually tightened it just so that. Dang. And then to the bottom, we have a door stopper to make it so the wood doesn't. Hold on. Can you see? Okay. So make sure that the wood wouldn't scrape across the ground and break. And we just found this in our garage. We didn't know what we were going to do with it, but now we have it as our bridge. And so, what I was talking about. What I was talking about with the blocks that we put in the middle, this is what it would look like on this. But this one we could just glue together because they were so small. But we had bigger ones for this one, and when we tried to screw it in, all of them fell out. And so this one makes noise as well as this one. You guys ready? It's great. Make a symphony with this. That's all. Thank you.